Fiesta Championship. Race 1 is lined up behind me. We have the XR2's Championship and the ST Championship obviously in the same race, and pole position is a man who we saw on dominant form last time out, Scott Robertson. I'm going to leave him to it because I know he gets quite nervous before the races, but if we have a wander a little bit further down, the championship battle is between George Orr in the black car, the battered black car, if you have a look there, and our points leader Dave Colville. Dave, if we can wander on this side and have a wee chat with him. Can I jump in for 2 seconds? Dave, still leading this championship. We're getting to that crucial time of the year.
It definitely is, Joe, and I need to improve on my performance in qualifying because it just wasn't good enough. So
you need to think about points, so you don't want to do anything daft. I mean, do you need race wins? Surely you can just stay close to these guys, stay close to George, and that championship will fall into your lap. I
wouldn't say it's guaranteed by any means, Joe, so I'll be pushing hard. I'll be looking to try and overtake either one or both of them. I'll be giving it my best anyway, so.
Don't give yourself a DNF, Dave, because that'll turn it on its head.
No, I'll certainly be trying to keep it on the black stuff, so. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good luck, Dave. I'll leave you to it. I can see you're a little bit nervous there in the car. Let's have a wander further back down. I want to speak to the points leader of the XR2 class, who's qualified actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, which is pretty good effort for Peter Cruikshank. Peter's been racing an XR2 since before they were built. Peter, I keep saying this to you every single time I speak to you. This is your year, and you're proving that to be correct so far with another class pole position.
Well, yeah, I was pleased with pole today. I must admit that was a handsome margin, I thought. But I'll warn you now, if you mention the C word to me, you'll get a bunch of C words straight back.
I try not to, but we are getting towards that time of the year now where we start to think really carefully when we're in the race about not doing anything daft. You're not going for that race win. You're just trying to get the points, and you're constantly looking in your mirrors thinking about where the rest of the guys are.
Right, you're dead right. It's all about getting points and staying safe.
Good stuff. You're in a good position and you've got an ST behind you. I'll leave you to it.
Yep. I would quite like it if he stayed there too.
We'll see. I don't think it's going to be as simple as that.
No.
There we go. This should be an absolute cracker. I'll hand it upstairs and they'll take you through the starting order.
Hey Joe, where you going with that mic in your hand? There's one for Gary Stagg up in the Knockhill commentary box. Scott Robertson on pole, George Orr alongside, then Dave Colville row 2, Blair Murdoch on his outside, XR2 pole, Peter Cruikshank, then it's Ian Donaldson, Craig Taylor 7th, Stephen Emsley 8th on the grid from Michael Jenkins, and Wayne McCauley down in 10th. Alex Shaw, P11, then Stephen Ward, the grid completed by George Runcie, Grant Anderson, Chris Hanna and Mike Strong. So we're into the penultimate meeting of the season here at Knockhill for the Scottish Ford Fiesta Championship. The mix of the newer STs and of course the venerable XR2s, which have been a mainstay of Scottish racing for many seasons and given us so much entertainment over the years, and that's about to continue. Lights out, great start from George Orr in black on the front row, but look out for Scott Robertson, double winner last time out, who gets through the gears mighty quick and down into Duffus Dip. Now did he get a tap from George Orr as they head down into Duffus for the first time? It looks like a good clean start, but going sideways is Alex Shaw. The red XR2 I think is off. Now did he? Hope he didn't tip over. No he didn't. There he is, the 43 car. Alex Shaw running 12th in the championship for the XR2s. Goodness me, what a frenetic start. So up through car loop for the first time, and it's Scott Robertson looking to build on what he did last time. Remember, a double win took him to 3rd in the championship. He missed rounds 7 and 8. Last time was round 9 and 10. This, of course, therefore, round 11. And he's 3rd in the championship at the moment on 188 points. Blair Murdoch chasing him, car number 85. Peter Cruikshank leading the XR2s. The red XR2, the yellow 34 car is Stephen Emsley running 2nd at the moment. Stephen 6th in the championship on 114 points and hoping to overtake Mike Strong, who's 5th, just a couple of points shy of him. As we go on board with Wayne McCauley, this is the driver who led the championship. Only a big sideways moment for Craig Taylor. Goodness me. Wayne McCauley, now a lot of drivers say if a car spins off in front of you, aim for it and then you'll miss it. Well, if he'd have aimed for that one, he'd have walloped him in the side. So Wayne McCauley makes up a place, championship challenger, 2nd in the table at the moment, 34 points behind Peter Cruikshank. And you heard Peter in the interview saying he didn't want to mention championships. He's been racing a long time, he's never been champion. This year looks like his best chance yet. He really has been absolute class this year, make no mistake about it. Car number 88, the white machine, Ian Donaldson, has got himself up ahead of Blair Murdoch in 85, chasing Dave Colville in the red Fiesta. We go on board another red car. This is Peter Cruikshank, the championship leader. Won in round 9 and 10, 235 points in the championship over 201 Wayne McCauley. And at the moment, looking pretty handy, I've got to say, in terms of a lead here. He was very pleased with his qualifying time, and of course to get in amongst the STs is a big achievement for Peter Cruikshank. It really does underline the ability in this car, the experience of the car as well. Love to see him get the chance to race something out if the XR2s do eventually expire here. A little bit of a wild moment there off onto the dirt, but Peter Cruikshank retains the lead. A double win would be very handy for him heading into our last meeting of the year. We'll see what sort of points he'll be able to put between himself and Wayne McCauley. Just to remind you of the point structure, it's 25 points for a win, 20 for second place. That means that after this meeting, it's only going to be 50 points left as Blair Murdoch looks up the inside of Ian Donaldson. The ICR car on the inside line, challenging for 4th place. There is Scott Robertson leading, George Orr second. Then it's Dave Colville, championship leader incident in the STs. Dave Colville with a 23-point lead over George Orr. And that looks like it's going to be extended at the moment. Race leaders all through. And the race here, 12 laps for the Fiestas. These two, as we said, no DNFs for them. Scott Robertson's finished every race that he's done. And that really says a great deal about the reliability of the ST. Very robust piece of machinery. Of course, there's a national championship as well, predominantly based in the south of England, which has been won this year by a very quick driver by the name of Jason Cooper. I, for one, would love to see a Fiesta festival, or at least a combined meeting up here. I'm not sure how many of the Southern Fiesta drivers would want to come up here, or indeed if the drivers from Scotland would want to come down south, but it would be great to see all of the cars on track together. There has been, from time to time, a little bit of a crossover between the two championships, Nick Sanderson being one driver who made the switch very effectively from XR2s into the Fiesta ST championship. And of course the great thing is, although there are some very subtle specification differences between the two championships, effectively the cars are interchangeable. So if you race a car in Scotland, you can join the national championship and vice versa. Up across the line again, Donaldson and Murdoch still very much hard at it for 4th and 5th place. Here comes Peter Cruikshank in red 3. Is it going to be another win for? Look at the lead that he's got at the moment. Nobody surely is going to deny him that. Here comes Craig Taylor in second in yellow. Sorry, Stephen Emsley second place in yellow. Then Wayne McCoy. There's Craig Taylor, the yellow car ahead of Mike Strong. Mike running in 5th position. Then Stephen Ward and George Runcie. The grey car of Grant Anderson goes through. So it looks as though this one is going to go to Scott Robertson. Fastest lap, pole position. It's been a good performance from him. This is where Dave Colville managed to grab second position earlier on. Is he going to have a go again? Down the inside line, he's hard on the brakes. There's a little bit of a gap on the inside of George Orr. This is good, clean racing from these two. But Dave Colville hasn't got the momentum as he comes out of the corner. And Scott Robertson goes on to the last lap here at Knockhill. Just 3 races in the championship to go after this one. Scott Robertson leads, as he has done from the start. George Orr made a pretty good getaway off the line, but Scott Robertson was through the gears quicker. Here we go, on board with the race leader. Looking for his 5th race win of the year. He won in round 4, won in round 5, won in round 9 and 10, and it looks like he's going to add round 11 to the list of victories. He's going to be the most successful driver in terms of wins this year, and he'll probably be ruining the non-entry of round 7 and 8, but nonetheless he's still very much in with a chance. There's still 75 points to add to the championship after this round, and Dave Colville with his 223 points is going to pick up, if he stays in 3rd, another 16. So it could still all change. We mentioned DNFs, but anyway, forget about DNS, because we're thinking race wins, and up across the line to take that win is Scott Robertson. Look at the distance that he's got. 4.5 seconds over George Orr, who takes second just from Dave Colville in third, completing the podium. There's Ian Donaldson, who got away from Blair Murdoch. Blair's fifth. And now we wait for the XR2s. Peter Cruikshank, championship surely getting closer and closer. He'll hate me for saying that, but up across the line, there's Peter Cruikshank, another win in the XR2s. Stephen Emsley is second at the moment, but coming under pressure from Wayne McCauley. Emsley, McCauley, Taylor, Strong. Down behind them, we've got Stephen Ward, who will come through in car 55, the ST, followed by George Runcie, the last of the ST runners, up across the line now. There is George, he's followed by Grant Anderson and Chris Hanna to complete the 14 runners. Non-finish, sadly, for Alex Shaw in 43. We saw him go off on the first corner. But here's the result then of round 11 of the Scottish Fiesta Championship. Scott Robertson win fastest lap, George Orr second, Dave Colville third from Ian Donaldson and Blair Murdoch, Peter Cruikshank winning the XR2s from Stephen Emsley and Wayne McCauley. Craig Taylor comes home ninth from Mike Strong, Stephen Ward 11th and George Runcie in 12th. 13th was Grant Anderson and Chris Hanna completing the runners for round 11 of the championship.
And another win. Championship is a little bit far away now, but another dominant performance.
Yeah, I've got to keep doing this to be in a run with the championship. It's still
Mathematically possible.
Still mathematically possible, so I've got to do everything I can. So it's going all good so far.
Exactly, another good points all, but you kind of need Dave and George to miss the podium for you to gain the points that you need to try to win this championship with only just 3 races to go.
Yeah, it's a tall order, but I need David to fall back a bit, then we might have a chance, but it's going to be close at the end of the year. It's going to be down to the last race.
All you can do is keep winning. Well done.
Thank you.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter King.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
The second Fiesta race is lined up behind me, ready to go. On pole position has been the dominant force in the last 3 or 4 races, which is Scott Robertson. He just checked out in the first one. Nobody could touch him. Second place is the man who's trying to close the gap on Dave Colville at the top of the championship, and it's George Orr. And let's have a really quick chat with George before they head out on track. George, really quickly, what can you do? I mean, you don't want to think about Dave behind you. I know there's a championship that's being fought for, but what can you do about our pole man?
I just need to try and get him off the start. Usually not bad at the starts, but it's keeping him behind me. It's going to be the problem, to be honest. I don't know if there's much I can do about him.
Need to upset his rhythm. If he gets going and gets a couple of laps under his belt, he'll be gone.
He just disappears, yeah. So I just need to try and stick with him or beat him off the start and try and keep him, hold him up for a bit and maybe let Dave attack him.
There we go, you heard it here first. George is looking to take him off the start. Let's see what happens. Richard, take it away for a run through of the grid.
Cheers, Joe. The grid based on the result of race number 1, and that means that Scott Robertson is, of course, on pole position. George Orr alongside, and then Dave Colville third. Ian Donaldson fourth. Blair Murdoch and Peter Cruikshank completing row 3. Peter, the XR2 pole position man. Stephen Emsley 7th with Wayne McCauley next to him. Then it's Craig Taylor and Mike Strong. Stephen Ward and George Runcie on row 6. The 7th row, Grant Anderson, Chris Hanna, Alex Shaw and Michael Jenkins due to line up on row 8 of the grid. But some problems, which I think means that Steve Ward and Michael Jenkins perhaps might not be joining us on track, but more of that and on. Lights already coming on here for round 12 of the championship. Are we going to see another Scott Robertson benefit here? Let's wait for the lights out. There they go. Looks like a good, pretty even start all round. But again, Robertson's got the car hooked up well from the start. George Orr trying to stay with him in black. Peter Cruikshank makes a good start off the front of the XR2s. And Scott Robertson, bang again! Down into Doffers Dip. George Orr, well, look at the momentum that Orr's lost. It certainly now hasn't done any damage to the car. And down the inside goes Dave Colville. Colville up into second place. George Orr lost so much momentum. Now, I just don't know whether he misjudged the gap going down into Duffer Stiff, and it certainly lost in momentum going down there. There is Ian Donaldson challenging George Orr now for third place as they go through Carloon Corner for the first time. Robertson very definitely did check out in race number 1. He pulled away from them. There is Peter Cruikshank, who's got Blair Murdoch behind him. Great start by Cruikshank. Murdoch will restore the status quo as they come down the straight and get back on terms with the other XR2s. Ian Donaldson looks down the inside line in 88, side by side with George Orr as they start to climb up the hill. Wayne McCauley looking to try and get into second place in the XR2s. In race number 1, of course, Wayne McCauley taking third. Stephen Emsley, the man that he's trying to pass. Everybody through safe and well on this second race of the meeting, and Dave Colville will be very pleased to get up into... Look at that move from Donaldson down the inside of George Orr. That was a real lunge there, but it doesn't work. Orr's got the faster racing line, hangs on to it, but hats off to Ian Donaldson, who, I don't know, it just looks like something's perhaps clicked this meeting. He was involved in a superb battle with Blair Murdoch in race number 1, and here he's after getting onto the podium. Runs a little bit wide there, does George Orr in black. We're not seeing a lot of Scott Robertson. That's the disadvantage, of course, of pulling away. There he is, Scott Robertson. Look at the lead that he's got already in these early stages of the race. Dave Colville will be very pleased to see the battle behind him, because George Orr and Ian Donaldson, they will undoubtedly slow each other up if they're dicing over position. Now, Wayne McCauley, I think, has got himself up to second in the XR2s. We'll check the cars out as they come through. Peter Cruikshank going through. Let's have a look. There is Peter up and over the brow. Then it's Wayne McCauley, followed by Mike Strong, and then the brace of yellow cars, Craig Taylor and Stephen Emsley. Craig Taylor in 6, Stephen Emsley in 34. Those three having a good old scrap. Remember, Mike Strong started 16th, and up on two wheels goes Craig Taylor. Gathers it all up. Stephen Emsley's on the outside line trying to go through. Wow, that was absolutely incredible. Down behind them, we've got the blue car of George Runcie getting involved in the mix, and the grey machine of Grant Anderson. So again, the nice thing about this championship, you don't have to be a front runner necessarily to join it. There's always somebody to race with, which is good. And if you've just joined us or haven't seen the championship before, the Scottish Fiesta Championship, a mix of the newer ST, the Ford Fiesta STs, and the more venerable XR2s. There is George Runcie in car number 8. He is getting to grips with the ST, getting better and better each time we see him. And this is his 4th meeting of the year. Had a couple of good scores, did the away round at Cadwell Park as well. Here we go, look at this scrap though and the pressure very much on Dave Colville at the moment. So Colville looks like he's holding them up, or defending well, probably is the better term. DC won't thank me for that. But now starts to get away, and down the inside goes Donaldson. Looks at the inside line as they go through Carloon Corner. That doesn't work for him. This is going to take the pressure off Dave Colville. Colville second, George Orr in black is third, 4th place Ian Donaldson, 5th is Blair Murdoch, and then in 6th place, leading the XR2s, is Peter Cruikshank. This is going to mean that Peter Cruikshank, now if things stay the way they are, Peter Cruikshank is going to have a 48-point lead. That's not quite enough for the championship. He's going to need 50 points to do it. So Cruikshank, got to keep your eyes on the championship. I know he didn't want us to mention it at the start of the programme, but we've got to keep our eyes on it, because it's going to be a major celebration if Peter can take it. And Wayne McCauley's still in with a shout, make no bones about that. ST's down into Scotsman Corner. Dave Colville, again, I think he's going to have a little bit of an attack soon from George Orr. Up into car. Colville looking, I've got to say, a little bit more comfortable in second. He's got away from him, got his head down, and George Orr's always got his eye on the mirror at the moment for this man, Ian Donaldson, car number 88, still putting the pressure on. Blair Murdoch not too far behind, and here comes Donaldson, looks down the inside line, Orr gets across, grabs the defensive line on the way into the hairpin. That forces the 88 car wide. Look at the gap back to the XR2s. There is Peter Cruikshank. Wayne McCauley still running in second, and a terrific scrap on for third. Craig Taylor's got it at the moment, so Craig Taylor's worked his way ahead of Mike Strong, but Mike coming round the outside line, and up the inside comes Stephen Emsley. Those cars, you can see the handling of the XR2s, they still work tremendously well around here. Saw the lines that those guys were taking out of the hairpin, they stick to the circuit. These guys really having a superb scrap. Back down the order, and it's George Runcie in the 6th of the XR2s going across the line. But Craig Taylor and Mike Strong still pretty much at it. Mike Strong 5th in the championship. Craig will be looking to add a further 25 points here to his newcomer championship campaign. He picked up another 25. In fact, he's been unbeaten in the newcomers since round 9. So this, if he can remain top newcomer, will be 4 newcomer wins on the bounce. Only Chris, Hannah and Grant Anderson in those. But we're on to the last lap with Scott Robertson, and if you saw the car in pit lane, you can see on the side he's got the logos of Cardowan Creameries, who also sponsor the champion-elect of the Ginetta G50s. Off goes Blair Murdoch in 85. Murdoch's off. Is he going to be able to rejoin? He hasn't lost too much time, but Blair Murdoch off from 5th position. And Peter Cruikshank's going to pass him here, I think. Peter Cruikshank has closed right down on Blair Murdoch. Goodness me, it all happens, doesn't it? So, I was starting to say that the Cardowan Creameries logo on the side of Scott Robertson's car, obviously a winner here. It's been a multi-winner in the Ginetta G50 class on the touring car package. There you can see that on the side. I know both drivers very grateful for the support of Cardowan, and it's going to be a checkered flag for Scott Robertson, who takes the win. Scott Robertson, 4 wins on the bounce, and he is right in contention for the championship. He's 2nd in the championship, 2nd in the race. Championship leader Dave Colville. It's George Orr in 3rd place. We've lost, by the look of it, car number 88 Ian Donaldson, because 4th in the race is another XR2 win for Peter Cruikshank, who is just now, by my calculations, 2 points short of winning the championship. Blair Murdoch comes 5th, Wayne McCauley 6th from Craig Taylor, and it's all going to come down to the final fling, the first weekend in October here at Knockhill. It's going to be a sensational weekend of racing. Make sure you join us either at Knockhill or here on Motors TV for the finale of the 2012 Scottish Ford Fiesta Championship. Here's the result for you of round number 12. Scott Robertson from Dave Colville, George Orr in 3rd, Peter Cruikshank wins the XR2s, Blair Murdoch 5th and Wayne McCauley 2nd in the XR2s, takes 6 overall. Craig Taylor 7th from Mike Strong, Stephen Emsley and George Runcie 9th and 10th, then Chris Hanna and Grant Anderson in 12th. By my reckoning, congratulations to Craig Taylor on the Newcomers Cup. Fastest lap of the race going to Scott Robertson.
Peter Cruikshank, yet again the XR2 winner. Did you realise the mathematics that if Wayne hadn't have finished 2nd, if he'd have finished 3rd, you'd now be the XR2 champion? It's that tight.
I had done that calculation at lunchtime, that's quite right. But out of that result, there's only one bit I could have anything to do with, and that was me coming 1st. So I did the bit I can do. I couldn't make Wayne come 3rd, unfortunately, so it's down to the next meeting.
Could you see him behind you? Were you checking your mirrors every 3 seconds to hopefully not see that white car?
Yes, I was. Well, what I really wanted to see was anything but that white car. Anything else would have been fine, but no, it was the white car. But luckily for me, it was quite a long way back.
Well, not long now. That championship's on its way, I'm sure. Well done.
Thank you very much indeed.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for from the Scottish Fiestas and the Scottish Formula Ford Championship. But please tune in next time to find out the final championship positions.